Alright, so what we got here is this Ford 289 small block Windsor. Just do a quick valve adjustment here. We've got hydraulic flat tappet instead of these some aftermarket roller tips on here. And pretty simple. What we're gonna do is I think there's an acronym for this. I can't remember what it is, but basically we're gonna do the zero valve lash and then half turn. You're looking for about 30 to 60 thousandths of preload on that lifter. We do the half turn and it's going to give us about 30 thousandths. I've never actually measured it, but you can look in there and judge it's probably about 30 thou. I'd rather go a little bit looser, especially on break-in with all fresh parts. If you think it's a little bit rattly, you know, run it for the break-in period, maybe a little bit longer, and then if you think it's noisy and you don't like it, give it another half turn, and that'll get you down near the 60 thou. But I like it loose, so that's the way we're gonna do it. One way to do this adjustment is to go along the firing order. Do all your intake valves going along the fire order, then go around and do all your exhausts along the firing order. Me, I like to go one cylinder at a time. I'll do we'll set one valve and then rotate the motor around until we come around to our adjustment for the other valve on that cylinder. I'll go one cylinder at a time. I think that's a little bit longer, but I think it's more consistent. You're less likely to make a mistake that way. I don't mind taking a couple extra, minutes just to make sure I do it right. Last thing you want to do is wipe out a brand new camshaft. You wipe out a cam, then your whole motor is going to be junk. I know, I've done it, so I know for a fact how that goes. So what we're going to do is, right now we're on number 5 here. Cylinder 5 on this Ford. Ford goes 1, 2, 3, 4 down the passenger side, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the driver's side. So let's get to it. So we're going to do the exhaust valve first. The way we do this is we're going to rotate the motor around to the intake at full lift and then go just past full lift, basically just past full lift on the intake, and then we'll lash out the exhaust. We'll go 0 lash on the exhaust, and then we'll go half a turn. So let's do that there. So just gonna watch our intake right here. I'm actually gonna watch the lifter. I don't know if I can zoom in there on that thing. Yeah, I can. Cool. So I'm just going to zoom in on that lifter until she comes around to full lift. There she comes up now. So that's coming up. You could probably put, if you really wanted to be anal about this, you could probably put a dial indicator on the lifter up on top of the rocker or something, magnetic based dial indicator to do this, but I don't really think that's necessary. So you could also do the same if you want to set set your valve adjustment with that too. You can, adjust down the rocker to your 30 to 60 thou, but just the half turn will give us the 30 thou we're looking for. It'll keep us pretty close. So like I said, if you don't like the way it sounds after you do your break-in and everything, you want to go another half turn, quarter to a half, have at it. But this will probably be good enough for us here. So we're gonna adjust that lifter. Gonna come up. That is at full right there. Just started to drop. So that's full lift on the intake. So now what we're gonna do is crank down our exhaust here. You can see got that thing pretty loose right now. So I can wiggle it, wobble it around. What I'm gonna do is tighten it down so it's 0 lashed. It's gonna take a second. I'll keep you guys from dealing with the wobble of me doing it here. So I'll pause it. I'm just gonna turn this down until I get to 0 lash. All right, so we got it pretty close right now to 0 lash. I still turn the push rod freely with my fingers, a little up and down, so you can see that. So we're close, but we're not there yet. A little bit of grease or a little bit of oil on your fingers is kind of good too. little bit less grip. So as you try to spin the push rod, it actually makes it easier to slip between your fingers. So you don't end up grabbing too tight and actually turning it, even though you're already tight with your zero lash. So I'm just gonna go a little bit more here. Go slow till I can feel the push rod stop spinning between my fingers. Feels like it's pretty close right there. Right about. That's about it right there. So I'm actually trying to turn it, and you can see it's not spinning. So I'll just go about a half turn. So just go up, straight up on the ratchet, and then just go down a half. And that is about 30 thou. So, all right, so if you were to look, it's kind of hard to tell. You can't really see it very well here or through the camera. If I was eyeballing it, I can eyeball it and get a better look at it. But the clip up at the top of the lifter, the gap there between the plunger and the lifter there, it's about 30 thou. It's actually about the gap of a spark plug. So if you knew if you change up spark plugs in your time, you gap them, get about 30 thou on the spark plug. That's about the same gap right there. So, wish I could see that better, but you really can't. It's a lot easier to see in person. But so that's set. So that is that's our exhaust. This is the exhaust one right here. Come straight down, and there's our exhaust port. So we're going to go over and do our intake. We're going to do an intake valve adjustment. So intake valve adjustment is turn the motor over so the exhaust valve just begins to open. So we're going to turn this over and watch the lifter right here, and watch that sucker just barely open up. So right there. So the exhaust just begin to open up. We're gonna set our intake adjustment. Actually, it's the same exact way. So we're gonna turn this thing down. You can see how loose it is right now. Turn our adjustment nut down till we zero lash it, till I can't turn the push rod freely with my fingers anymore, and then we'll go a half a turn. There it is. That's exhaust and intake. So pretty much we'll rotate the motor over, and we're going to do the same thing. So we'll do our exhaust. So So I'm going to rotate the exhaust or the engine over till I get up to full lift on my intake. Comes up, it's going, it's at full, and we'll go just past. A little bit more. I don't know if it's, yeah, it's going down. Run down our exhaust. About there. And our socket got stuck. Sometimes they get stuck down there inside these rocker arms. It's just the tolerance is a little bit tight. So, not a big deal. So now we're going to rotate over. We're going to go till the exhaust just opens. So I guess I'm never going to get that straight. So, I'm rotating it around. Watching my exhaust, got my finger on there to feel it. Generally you tend to feel things before you see them. So. And there it goes. Run down the intake. Closer. That's it. So it's not a race. There's no reason to rush through it. You want to make sure you do this right. Like I said, you screw this up, you grind over a cam, you're screwed. You know, the motor's junk. So you do this be pretty deliberate about this. Like I said, I like going one cylinder at a time. It's not the fastest way to do it, but to me, you're less likely to make a mistake. So just the way I like to do that. So I'll put like the little adjustment description in the bottom there. If you want to look at it, you can read it and see it. I probably confuse the hell out of you trying to tell you what to do. So pretty much it. So when you're doing it, you know, when you're adjusting the intake valve adjustment, is rotate the motor over till the exhaust just begins to open on that cylinder. You just zero lash the intake. Pretty much spin the push rod, or go till you can't spin the push rod anymore. Then I go a half a turn. Exhaust valve adjustment is turn motor over till you get the intake up at full lift. Then go just past that, just past full lift. And same thing, 0 lash out the exhaust valve, and then go another half a turn. And that gives you about 30 thousandths of preload into the lifter. Like I said, if you're looking for about 30 to 60, you could probably go maybe another quarter to a half if you want to. But like I said, I'd rather keep it light. Then if I need to, I'll make an adjustment later if it sounds kind of noisy to me. But you don't really know that till you get the motor running, but I'd rather break it in loose. So that's pretty much it. So quick valve adjustment procedure for the hydraulic flat tappet here on this 289 Ford. So thanks for checking it out. Hopefully I helped you out.